Welcome to the deep dive. You've handed us some really interesting source material today. Looks like a mix of articles, some notes, all giving us a peek into recent, maybe even future stuff from Google.
Yeah, that's right. It's quite a range. We've got whispers about the next Pixel camera, a pretty detailed look at online logins, security, and even a new trick for finding your photos.
Right. And, at first glance, they might seem a bit random, but I think they all point to this trend, right? Our phones, our devices, becoming these super powerful centers for, well, everything digital.
Absolutely.
So our mission here is pretty straightforward. We're going to unpack these sources for you, pull out the most important bits, the really interesting insights, and basically get you up to speed without you having to wade through all the details yourself.
Exactly. Think of it as the highlights reel. We'll hit the hints about potentially amazing camera stabilization. We'll get into why passkeys might finally be the thing to replace passwords seriously, and then explore this kind of surprising new way to search your photos. So yeah, let's unpack this.
Okay, let's do it. Kicking things off, something visual, something maybe a bit exciting. What's the latest on phone video? Specifically, this rumored Pixel 10 camera. What are the sources saying?
Well, the big buzzword is stabilization, image stabilization. The leak says it's set for a, quote, heavily improved upgrade.
Heavily improved. Okay. That sounds promising, but it's the comparison they make that really jumps out, isn't
It
it?
is very specific. They actually say it's like using the Pixel 10 on a DJI Osmo Mobile 6, but without the actual gimbal.
Wow. Okay, without the gimbal.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty bold claim, right? Anyone who's fiddled with a gimbal knows they work wonders for smoothing out shakes, especially when you're walking. Makes everything look so much more professional. To suggest a phone can do that internally,
Hmm.
that's remarkable if true.
And this isn't just for the fancy Pro model either. The leak suggests this improvement, this gimbal-like smoothness, could be across the whole Pixel 10 lineup.
That's what the report claims, yeah.
Yeah.
Expected to benefit all the models, including the rumored Fold version, the Pixel 10 Pro Fold.
Huh. That makes it a much bigger deal, potentially. Affects more people, different price points.
Definitely.
And timing. I know it's early days, but any whispers there? The source mentioned a potential date.
Yeah, there's some speculation around maybe August 13th for a launcher announcement. That would line up roughly with how they did the Pixel 9 series reveal last year. Still just a rumor, though.
Right, right. Grain of salt. So let's connect this back. Why should you, listening now, care about this specific phone leak?
Well, the potential here is pretty significant, I think. It means you might be able to get incredibly smooth, stable video straight out of your phone. No extra gear needed. That could really change how you shoot videos day to day, making that high quality look much easier to achieve.
Okay, so super stable video potentially baked right in. Interesting. Now let's shift gears completely. From making cool videos to, well, protecting yourself online. Let's talk logins, passwords, or maybe no passwords. The source kicks off with something we can all relate to, right? That frustration of juggling complex passwords and then the whole two-factor authentication thing on top.
Oh, yeah. It's a universal pain. Try to type some crazy long password on your phone screen,
Yeah.
then fumbling for another app or waiting for a text message for that 2FA code. It's necessary. We know it's for security, but boy, is it a hassle.
And the source points out most people don't use password managers, right? They just reuse simple stuff everywhere. Big security risk.
Huge risk. Which brings us to the proposed solution, Passkeys. Based on the source, can you just break down what a passkey actually is?
Simply put. Okay, so basically, a passkey is a digital key. It's designed to completely replace your old school password. It gets created and stored securely right there on your device, your phone, your laptop, whatever. And it's locked behind your phone's or computer's own security, like your fingerprint, your face scan, or just your PIN.
Got it. So it lives on my device, protected by my fingerprint or face. How does that translate to logging into, say, my Google account? Walk us through that example from the source.
Right, so you go to the Google login page, you type your username, like usual, but then instead of asking for a password, the website basically talks to your device. It says, hey, got the passkey for Google. If the passkey is on the device you're using right then, your device just prompts you. Unlock with fingerprint or use your PIN. You do that and boom, you're in.
Okay, simple enough if the passkey is on this device. What if it's on my phone, but I'm logging in on my laptop? Good question. So in that case, the website on your laptop might show a QR code. You just pull out your phone, scan the code with the camera app. Your phone then asks for your fingerprint or PIN. You approve it. And your phone securely tells your laptop, using Bluetooth, yep, it's really them. You're logged in on the laptop. Your phone doesn't even need Wi-Fi or data for that handshake part.
Wow, okay. That sounds incredibly smooth, actually. So the convenience benefit is massive. No typing passwords, no separate 2FA codes.
Exactly. That step, using your fingerprint or PIN on your device, that is the multi-factor part. It combines something you have, the device with the key, and something your fingerprint or your PIN. It folds that second security layer right into the main login. Super convenient.
Yeah, that sounds much better. And you mentioned it's good for new devices where you don't have autofill set up yet.
Right. Just scan the QR code, easy. And even on your regular devices, Passkeys can work with your password manager, so logging in feels just as quick as autofill, maybe quicker, but way more secure underneath.
Okay, convenience is clear. But let's talk security. How is this truly more secure than having, a super strong unique password plus that regular 2FA code?
This is where Passkeys really shine, according to the source material. First off, they're stored differently. They live in a secure, encrypted spot on your device, protected by the hardware itself. Malware can't easily scrape them from your browser's memory like it can with passwords. They're not text strings, so you can't guess them with brute force attacks.
Okay, harder to steal, impossible to guess. What else?
And here's a really crucial point the source highlights. Passkeys are cryptographically unique per domain.
Cryptographically unique per domain. Okay, unpack that a bit for us. What does that mean in practice?
Sure. Think of it like this. When you set up a passkey for Google, your device and Google create a unique pair of linked digital keys. One private key stays locked on your device, that's your passkey. The other public key goes to Google. These keys work only for Google. If you then create a passkey for, say, your bank, it generates a totally separate, unique pair of keys just for the bank.
So you can't accidentally reuse them.
Never. It's impossible. And this is huge. Even if, let's say, the bank gets hacked and their database of public keys is stolen, that stolen bank key is completely useless for trying to log into your Google account. The keys don't match. It stops that whole problem of password reuse dead in its tracks. A breach at one site doesn't automatically put your other accounts at risk.
That's a massive advantage over password breaches. Okay, what about phishing? That's how so many people get compromised, clicking fake login links.
This might be the biggest win for everyday users, and the source really emphasizes it. Phishing works by tricking you into typing your password, maybe even your 2FA code, into a fake website that looks real. With Passkeys, that whole attack vector basically disappears. Your browser or your password manager knows which passkey belongs to which real website domain. So if you land on google-login-totally-real.com instead of google.com, your device simply won't offer the Google passkey. It knows it's the wrong site. The login just fails. It effectively neutralizes phishing for passkey-protected accounts.
Wow. Okay. That alone sounds like a game changer. And the source mentioned the underlying tech isn't brand new.
Right. The core idea, public key cryptography, it's been around for ages. Powers secure websites, HTTPS, secure remote access, stuff like that. What's new is making it super easy and seamless for everyday website logins. That user experience layer is the key.
So if they're so good, convenient, and super secure, why aren't we all using them already? The source mentioned sort of ignoring the prompts for a while.
Yeah, that's a fair point raised in the material. Adoption was slow initially. It was complicated. You needed the operating system, the web browser, and your password manager all to support it and talk to each other properly. Syncing them across different devices, like from an iPhone to a Windows PC, was also a big hurdle for a long time. The source notes Google Password Manager only got good cross-platform sync relatively recently, like late 2024.
But it sounds like things are better now. The tech has matured.
Much better. Yeah, significantly. Support is now pretty widespread across the major players. Windows, Mac, iOS, Android, Chrome, Safari, Firefox. And the source specifically calls out password managers like Bitwarden, 1Password, ProtonPass, for handling that cross-platform syncing really well now. So you can manage your passkeys easily across different ecosystems.
Okay, so how do you actually switch over if a website supports them?
You typically just go into your account security settings on that website. Look for an option like Passkeys or Add a Passkey. The site will start the process, then hand it off to your browser or password manager, which will guide you through creating and saving it, usually just confirming with your fingerprint or PIN.
Yeah.
That's it. Future logins then become that super quick biometric or PIN check.
And are major sites actually rolling this out now?
Yeah, momentum is building.
Yeah.
The source mentioned a few examples like Cathay Pacific, PlayStation, PayPal. There's a growing list out there. It's definitely picking up steam now that the foundations are solid.
Okay, so let's wrap up this passkey section. What's the big takeaway for you, the listener?
I think the main message is Passkeys are a really big step up. They tackle both convenience and security at the same time, which is rare. They make logging in easier while making you much safer from common attacks like phishing and credential stuffing. It really does feel like the future of logging in, and it seems like it's finally ready for people to start adopting.
All right. From securing logins to finding stuff in your photo library, let's shift to Google Photos. It already had some pretty clever AI search features, didn't it? Using Gemini and all that.
It did, yeah. You could already search using natural language, like asking for pictures of my cat sleeping on the blue chair or find receipts from my trip last May. That was powerful stuff.
But this new feature highlighted in the source is different. It's about searching for specific text. How does that work?
Right, this lets you find photos based on words that are actually visible in the picture itself. And the key trick, according to the source, is to put your search term inside quotation marks.
Ah, okay. Like doing an exact phrase search on Google search? Use quotes. And where does it look for that quoted text? Just text in the photo.
It looks in a few places, the photo's file name, maybe the camera model if that's relevant, any captions you added. But the really cool part is, yes, it searches for text. It optically recognizes within the image. On signs, on documents, on screens, whatever text is visible.
So if I search without quotes, I get the usual broad result, visual matches, descriptions. But putting quotes around it tells photos, nope, I only want images containing this exact text.
That's the distinction the source makes, exactly. No quotes glaze broad search. Quotes find this specific text string.
Okay, I can see how that would be super useful in certain cases. The source gave some examples.
Yeah, think about finding screenshots easily.
Yeah.
Or maybe photos of documents. If you snapped a picture of a recipe, a page in a book you wanted to remember, a business card, a whiteboard after a meeting, now you can just search for a specific word or number you know is on that image, inside quotes, and Google Photos should pull it right up.
That could save a lot of scrolling. And this is live now. People can use this.
Yep. Source confirms it's rolling out or already live in the latest Google Photos app updates for both Android and iOS. And it apparently works on the web version of Google Photos, too.
So the practical benefit here for you, the listener.
It basically turns your photo library into more than just pictures. It's also a searchable database of text information you've captured visually. It's about quickly finding that specific bit of info, that address, that confirmation number, that ingredient list that you know you have a picture of somewhere without having to remember when you took it or what else was in the shot. Saves time, saves frustration.
Definitely sounds useful. Well, that really covers the ground from these sources. A fascinating deep dive, I think. We touched on those leaks, hinting at potentially game-changing video stabilization in the next pixel, maybe even ditching the need for gimbals in many cases. We spent a good chunk of time unpacking Passkeys, how they promise that dual win of better convenience and much stronger security compared to passwords and traditional 2FA.
A really important shift there.
And we finished with that neat Google Photos update using quotes to search for specific text right inside your images, finding that needle in the digital haystack.
Yeah, these sources definitely give us a good shortcut to understanding some interesting developments.
And maybe here's a final thought for you to chew on as we wrap up. Think about how all these things we discussed, advanced image processing happening on the device itself, your phone's biometrics becoming your security key, AI scanning the content within your photos, it all points towards our personal devices, especially our phones, becoming these incredibly dense hubs of power, security, and intelligence. They manage so much of our digital lives, our memories, our identity.
That concentration of capability is really something.
So the question to consider is, what does this ongoing concentration of power and smarts right there in your pocket or on your desk mean for how you interact with technology, with your information, and with the digital world moving forward? Something to think about.